Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center and I'm here with Valentino with his movie, Swipe Me Tender. Let's take a look at the clip.
You can find love in apps.
Yeah, you could.
No, I never had anything long-term come from a dating app.
I don't think they're used for dating. They're used for coordinating blowjobs.
Oh yeah. Okay. Profile. Name? I am Valentino.
Valentino, congratulations on your film. Absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic. For those that haven't seen your documentary, tell us a brief synopsis.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be short. Swipe Me Tender talks about my personal coming out process in the age of dating apps. I am Southern Italian, gay man, closeted before this movie, so I decided to come out of the closet with this short documentary. It's 25 minutes long, and it has a lot of surprises in it.
It's amazing. Well, I knew you were Italian, just how well dressed you were. I was like, yeah, Italian, totally. No, honestly, that was incredible. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I kept thinking how inspiring your film was, and how brave it was and courageous to be able to sort of, share your story, not just with you, but with the world, not just around you, but on film as well, which, the world gets to see. How and when was that moment you're like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it on camera?
Oh, the genesis of the movie. Well, when you're closeted, I don't know if today we are lucky or unlucky to live in these days when you pull up your phone and you just swipe left and right and meet someone and you not even know the person, and you can do it secretively.
Yeah.
So that was the genesis.
Yeah.
This project, Swipe Me Tender, has been made with the support of USC School of Cinematic Arts. I'm currently enrolled in my last year of the grad program.
We love USC.
We love USC, fight on. And so in the genesis of Swipe Me Tender, I was currently dealing with a lot of encounters on these dating apps. I have, my personal path is, I'm from Southern Italy. I moved to Rome when I was 18, then I moved to Paris, and then I moved here. And in my sentimental, personal life, I've dated girls, but always, I was closeted. So when I moved to Paris, since I have a thing for French, I started dating guys. But how can you date guys when you have never dealt with it? And when you come from such a culture, my family is very conservative, Catholic, I'm the firstborn, so I'm supposed to give the example. So a lot of, lot of weight on my shoulder.
Of course.
And I started using these dating apps, and I realized, I was feeling like, how can I say, like a teenage girl at the first love. And, I was, by then, I was in my late 20s. And I was shocked by I would say, the brutality of this apps and the way relations are reduced to basically hookup and sex. So imagine like a fragile soul confronted to this brutality. They wanna fuck, top, bottom, and it was totally new to me. Took me a couple of years to adjust to it. And then when I moved here, I was like, okay, let's see how it goes in the States. And I believe as a filmmaker that there is a moment in your life where you follow that so-called synchronicity, and I felt that last year it was the time for me to do this movie and to come out with this movie, because I personally believe, and I try to embody it as a filmmaker, as an artist, as an European, to combine my personal life with my art. For me, I want to tell stories and I want to make stories, specifically documentaries, that are they're tangled with my personal life, with my vision and voice, and my, I would say, pounding heart. I believe that when you're specific, when you talk about yourself, personal, you're universal, and this story is truly it's about universal love, not only being specifically gay. It's universal, and I didn't realize it until I had this kind of small anecdote happening to me. So Abby, she is the photographer in the movie. She takes pictures of me that then, you know, a new profile picture and, you know, successful profile picture. She knows a psychiatrist, and she watched the doctor watched the movie, and she said that she's gonna use Swipe Me Tender to show her patients, because, you know, sometimes, you know, it's a very general issue to not accept themselves.
Yeah, and well, absolutely. And I think, you know, when you're talking about things, it is hard today because, you know, at the end of the day, we want to have humans about having connection. And, you know, when you kind of like, it's great because there's a lot of great ways through social media now that you can connect with people, but some of it's very disconnecting through apparently something that's supposed to connect us. And it's kind of sad, isn't it? Because, you know, we're missing the concept of speaking to each other and talking to each other and getting to know someone and finding out about each other. And, you know, I think a lot of young people today sort of, you know, this is what they're exposed to and probably all that they know. And so it is very difficult. But it's also very difficult when you obviously got challenges of like, you know, if you've got to say this to your parents or, you know, who are in a very different world and don't really understand it as what we take for granted here in Los Angeles. What was that experience like? You know, I mean, it's already challenging enough to kind of like figure out what it is that you want and who you want to be with, but then on the layers of like trying to explain to people that aren't in your world that you love but are not in that world. What was that experience like, and then how was that trying to document that on film as well?
Well, it's pretty fun. Great question. The project started as an exploration of, you know, with me, of course, in the center of it, but I was not supposed to be the main character. So, you know, because this was part of a class and we show dailies and we have feedback, and, you know, the faculty and the whole class was starting to say, your story is definitely more interesting than, you know, the theoretical, you know, follow verite documentary. And I was like, gulp. So I guess this is it. I guess I'm gonna tell them. And I was really reluctant. You know, all the part in Italy, I've shot it personally. Me and my brother, so my brother kind of knew and, you know, kind of sensed it. So when the time came, I realized as I show in the film, I wrote a letter to my parents because this film is about being honest and revealing myself to the world, as you say, but specifically to my family. So it's all about being honest and finally, you know, dropping the mask with my parents. So I decided to tell them with a letter because they would come visit me in Los Angeles, and I didn't want them to feel ambushed. And the final moment, I don't want to spoil it, but the final moment, that was a conscious decision of my parents that understood where I was going. They understood the potential of the story, the inspirational value of the story, and they let me film them. So it starts like in hiding, and the purpose of this film is not to hide anymore.
Wow, but I mean, it's really powerful, and I think you really showcase the journey that you went on during this film as well. Everything from going on very difficult dates to kind of the conversations you have with your friends, but also kind of like the searching for what you want in love in your life as well, and that there's no kind of right or wrong, it's just that we're all individually made up differently and that it's okay. What was it like, you know, obviously Los Angeles is a you know, very sort of opening, welcoming city, and of course there's still challenges, but what's it like coming from like Italy and then being in a place like here, and you know, it's kind of pretty open here and things are pretty open about that. How's the experience been different from Italy to here?
Well, you know, in Italy, the situation in Italy is changing. There's, you know, there are, you know, gay union, even though we have, as you know, our tradition is pretty Catholic. But still, it's kind of taboo. You know, of course, now my family knows, and I'm pretty open about it, but still there's this stigma, I would say. And here was to me like, you know, dreamland, like Neverland. I'm like, yoo-hoo. But, you know, I felt that freedom that I kind of didn't feel in Paris, which is surprising because, you know, France is also very open and, you know, they're very progressive. But there's still this stigma that I guess is in Europe. The need to tell the story and the need to explore specifically the colorful world of Los Angeles is that we are so connected, I would say hyper, ultra connected, but at the same time, there is this huge, thick wall between, like, you know, in our relationship. So what I wanted to try to do, and I hope I did, at least I tried, is with the movie, with a media, with an expression, with an audio-visual expression, a filter, I tried to, you know, kind of criticize that same screen that we put between each other.
Well, I love that you did that, because I mean, at the same time, it's really, when you really think about it, it's like, wow, you know, there's the world where you would swipe on someone just from a minute state, like facts about someone, and it's like, oh, that's good, that's not good, and how quick we are to disregard something, you know, when we've not even had a conversation with someone, and how crazy that kind of concept really is. But now we're so familiar with that kind of concept that it's just become second knowledge, and how kind of great that you connect with people, but how disappointing at the same time. I love that you kind of showcase that in the film. Like, this is great, but you know, it's also, what is this? You know, what are we doing? Was that was obviously something important for you to kind of share, and,
Yes.
and how we're moving in technology almost at a faster pace than we can even keep up with as well. I think one of the things that I felt like, I was like, wow, you are vulnerable. You went on a date in your film? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, you went on a date in your film and you wanted to film it? What was his reaction to it?
I have done so many crazy things, and you know, I have a background in acting. That's why maybe I was, you know, I tease in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had also to deal with the constant critique from faculty saying, this is becoming a vanity piece or a reality show. So I had to juggle and keep that authenticity. There were a lot of challenges. First of all, dealing with my family, as we have talked about, and then, you know, finding scenes and showing how the dynamics of, you know, gay dating work in Los Angeles, specifically here. And I remember I was with my producers, and we were literally doing casting. We were reaching out to actors, asking them, "Are you gay? Would you love to go on a date with this guy?" I remember it was hilarious. We were in this bar, and I was like sitting, giving my back to them, so I could see them, like, kind of like, "Oh, is he cute? Isn't he cute?"
Yeah.
And they would be all like with partners, they would say, "Oh, I can act." I was like, no way.
Yeah.
And then at some point, this guy that I actually met on Grindr, the actual date that I have, and I was desperate. I say, "Hey, do you mind?" Because I kind of like saw how he was, very extroverted in our very stern conversation, a very short conversation. He was like, "Sure, I can be filmed. I don't mind being filmed." I was like, I showed the message to the producer, say, "We have to make it happen this weekend." And it happened. It was a disaster, but it's in the movie. So
it's in the movie. Well, I mean, having gone through this experience, and I'm sure there are quite a lot of challenges, both emotionally and physically, what was the one biggest challenge you had in making this particular film?
You know, the magic of documentaries, and that's why I love documentaries. Don't get me wrong, I also want to focus on fiction. But why I love documentaries the most is because you find a story in the tailoring, in the process. And I'm gonna tell you, so the physical production of the movie was over 5 weeks. And in the 4th week, I didn't know what the story was, because I was in this kind of vague, yes, I know it's about me, but I don't know how far I can go with my story. And so I was totally lost. I remember faculty was looking at me as I was like a weirdo because I couldn't find a story. And then the last week of production, I had the, you know, enlightenment, I would say. We found the story. The story is gonna be this, and we started structuring what we had, the material that we had collected, and you know, we finished it.
Well, okay, it's very different from making a project, having yourself in a project, filming a project, and then bringing it to New Filmmakers LA in front of audiences. What is that experience like, having you up there on the big screen and a story about essentially your journey? What was that experience like?
It was incredible. Last night I mean, we have a screening at USC because it's part of a class, and the reception was it was actually excellent. Everybody was, you know, very enthusiastic about it. But then last night at NewFilmmakers LA, the docu-slate was the baptism, I would say, of the movie. And I was impressed and pleasantly surprised that people were reacting. Because, you know, you're sheltered when you're at school.
Oh, of course,
and people, you know, people like, you know, to please.
And you watch off your laptop and things as well, yeah.
Exactly. And last night, I was very, very pleased to, you know, have a lot of reaction. People came and talked to me and, you know, told me how inspiring it was for them. I was very, very pleased. So.
Oh, well, that's all we can ask for.
NewFilmmakers LA last night was my LA premiere.
Oh,
so
we're so fortunate. Wow.
I was very, very, very proud of screening Swipe Me Tender.
Well, we're very proud to have him. We couldn't have this without you, so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
What is next for you?
My next project. So I call myself a producer mainly, and then a director part-time, I would say. So right now I am focusing on producing another short documentary for the same class. I'm associate producer, so who knows, maybe next year will be my 2 directors that I produce.
We hope so.
I definitely will have them submitting their film. I'm also on the fiction side. I have packaged a TV series that I'm trying to film in southern Italy.
Oh, wow.
And there's a gay story over the 1930s, so at the rising of fascism. So
oh, wow.
I am trying to put, you know, the project together, and now I am in the process of, as a producer and possibly a director, you know, we're nailing down the story with a good script, because you cannot go
of course.
like places if you don't have a good script. And at the same time, I am developing with my partner in crime, I call her. She's a fellow producer. We're trying to develop a web series inspired by Swipe Me Tender.
Oh, great.
Exploring minority. She's black and she's also queer. So trying to explore the, you know, the colorful Los Angeles area with, you know, from the point of view of minorities, and see where it goes. So, and it's, you know, it's a lot of fun, because now that, you know, out of the closet has been done, it's just exploration. So we'll see.
I think on a note that your film, not only through your vulnerability of sharing this film and showcasing this film, your film is also helping and supporting many people out there by being inspired by your story. I think that's a very important thing, when you can share something that is not only inspiring others, but maybe to help others go through certain circumstances as well. So thank you for making that happen for those out there who'll get to see your film as well. So Valentino, everybody, thank you.